reaping things. In other words, the main problem with people in any religion, any faith, if it's not of God, it's because what they've done is they have changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into the image made like corruptible man. In other words, people make up their own gods to suit their fancy. Do you think that the Canaanites were getting their jollies off? Oh yeah, you better believe it. With children, women, and with animals, and with each other, with other men. They were so corrupted as a society that God completely wiped them out. And that's because the Canaanites, along with a lot of other religions, have, again, changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into the likeness of themselves. And guess what? If you can go around and sin like you want, you better have a God that fit that fancy, otherwise you're going to feel pretty convicted. So why not make up a God in the image of yourself so that you can go around, rape children, and not feel any repercussion from it?
Well,
because
wasn't
your
that
God allows it?
Wasn't that the reason why God's instructions to Joshua when they went into the land of Canaan was to slew all of them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Except for, I forgot her name, the prostitute who helped Joshua's two spies.
Yeah.
And her family. I forgot her name.
Yeah, that's oh golly, the scarlet robe there. Who is it? It's not. Oh wow, I just saw her name a few days ago too. We were talking about it. But yeah, there was a prostitute that actually helped them.
And he also right, and he also told them that they are to destroy everything, and they are not to take into their possession anything that belonged to the Canaanites. He wanted them to start fresh.
Right. Yeah, and that right there is power. And see, what I'll hear often is I'll say, "Wow, how do you like this God? This God wiped out whole civilizations because of his racism, his sexism, because he's a big cosmic meanie." No. And it's very interesting as I'll hear this argument a lot about the Canaanites. Let's talk about how God wiped out the whole earth. How about when God killed his own Jewish people? Guys, this isn't about God being picky and choosy who he's killing because he's got some kind of anger vendetta against them.
You see, that was...
Hello, you already unmuted me. You want to call her?
That was also...
Hello.
Are you taking calls?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Okay. I'd like to ask a question. Is this show going to be about God, or is this going to be about terrorism?
Both.
Talk about both.
Ask whatever you like.
Came here. I don't want to talk about God. To me, that's an illusion. I could care less.
Oh, I would love to talk to you then.
Okay, good. Then I want to talk about terrorism.
Okay.
How real do you think this Turkish terrorism that you're talking about in your description page, or the Islamic terrorism, how important, how much of an impact, how dangerous do you think they are to we, the Americans, here on our soil?
Well, I think it only takes
Mark, hold on. I got to answer this question. Sir, why? And please don't take this the wrong way, okay? Mm-hmm. But this is going based on, I take it you're a materialist, you're an evolution atheist kind of
I'm an agnostic, right? Yeah, I'm an agnostic.
You're an agnostic, okay. So I guess my question to you is, before we start talking about how terrible the terrorism is, I would like to know how we justify it. How do we know that it's evil, sir?
How do we know that terrorism is evil?
Yeah, how do we know?
Oh, you're going to go into what, moral uncertainty now?
Well, sir, you don't have any moral uncertainty, so terrorism could be good, according to you.
No, that's not my question. What you're doing is taking my question and you're taking it and transforming it into a moral.
And I don't mean this out of any disrespect at all. I think that you have a very well.
I just don't know where you're going with it. If you want an answer, I'll tell you. Depending upon the definition, whose the recipient of terrorism and who's the giver of terrorism, that's going to determine what's evil.
According to who, though?
As I said, whoever the recipient is versus whoever the giver, whoever the terrorist is.
So it could be good. It could be, I can receive it as good.
You could. I mean, since our country was theoretically founded upon some sort of terrorist backlash. Yeah.
So we don't really know that terrorism is good or evil.
Well, I don't think it was founded so much on terrorism as it was on revolution. Okay, there is a difference.
King George thought.
Why is revolution good or bad?
Terrorism. Yeah, but I don't understand the point of the question. My question is whether the terrorists, whether you want to name them, whatever you want to name them, if they come over here and if they damage property and kill people. How let me see. How imminent do you think that is? How imminent? I mean, in other words, how soon do you think a major attack is going to be, and how dangerous do you think it will be?
Well, there's no danger. In evolution, it's really the survival of the fittest. So really my goal is to get my DNA to spread as much as possible, and I need to survive within my own kind, within my own DNA. So I don't really, if we're evolutionary creatures, then terrorism really doesn't have much meaning to me other than I'm going to survive, and I don't care if anybody else survives.
Yeah, but that's not my point nor my question. You're talking about the law of the jungle, and as a result of if tigers kill hyenas, that's okay, even though the hyenas are suffering. If the hyenas turn around and kill the tigers, that's okay. I'm not talking about the morality of it or the evolution of it. What I'm saying is
there a morality to terrorism, though, sir? Is there a morality to terrorism?
All right, so you don't want to answer my question then. If you want to turn,
I don't understand the question.
My question is, how imminent do you think that these radical Islamic terrorists, the danger that they pose, will be to us on our soil?
Well, according
to using words like danger.
According to I said this before. According to Director Brennan and Director Comey, okay, it only takes one person to be successful with a bomb, a suicide bomb.
Right.
It's not that they're coming over here and attacking like an army. Okay, It's like in Vietnam, which was a different kind of war, a guerrilla warfare, which Americans were not used to. Americans were used to, you charge me, I charge you, I have a tank, you have a tank, we shoot guns. That wasn't how it was in Vietnam. Now we've evolved to terrorism, okay, where we put we put a scare in you that it doesn't have to be somebody from Syria coming over here. It could be a homegrown terrorist, a lone cell.
The thing is, we're not asking.
Who is brainwashed by what he or she reads on the internet, and they put together a suicide vest.
Right.
You know, that's what they say we have.
Yeah, but that's not the question he's asking.
No, that is the question he's asking.
No, that's not the question.
It's not the question he's asking.
Correct.
Your question is. Your question is.
He's asking how soon it's going to be.
I understand. I know. I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
You're basically. It's going to have very little effect on us, in reality, because there's never going to be too many people killed, and it's never going to be a major. More people are always going to die in car crashes. Right. More people are going to die of. Suicide, of gangland murders,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, will we ever see? God forbid, another 9/11? It could be in the works. Don't forget that took at least 3 years to plan before they actually did it. So I mean, something like that could be in the works now. Yeah. But this is how they are going. This is how they are going to spread their terrorism and their word, okay? It's not going to be somebody landing on the shore. It's going to be people who are already here, okay? and they're going to hijack whatever it is they're going to do, or they're going to plant a bomb, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that becomes for our children's generation and grandchildren's, this is going to become the new normal. Okay, that you never know, things like you read about Turkey and Bangladesh. These are going to become more the norm, unfortunately, than having a picnic out in the country. Okay, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Well then, right, and
So
then I think you differ a little bit with what the caller was saying just before you had spoken when he said in reality it doesn't really mean much. I think in reality, even if we have only 2 terrorist attacks in the next year, 2 or 3 terrorist attacks in the next year, that it will change the mindset of Americans because the government will want us to have that mindset change and want us to be fearful of whatever terrorists will,
I don't think it's I don't think it's that they want us to be fearful, because after 9/11, you remember, President Bush said the best way we can show them, just go out and live your life, go out your normal day.
Well, that was immediately after 9/11, right? But in the meantime, they've raised the warning levels and then lowered them and raised them and lowered them, and then of course we get the news and about how we have to be concerned about the terrorists behind every bush.
Well, the thing that in this country we are lucky in the fact that the Americanized Muslims who live here and practice their religion have been integrated into the general society. All right, some of them may live in together or whatever, but for the most part, I mean, they could be a neighbor across the street. Okay, there's not one section in any state, okay, that says, okay, you have to live here, like redlining. Okay, that used to be back in the 50s. All right, keeping minorities out of certain neighborhoods. Okay, in Europe, they have ghettos. They don't feel like they're part of the UK. They don't feel like they're part of the French. They don't feel like they're part of the Hungarians or the Belgians. They live in certain areas and they are not treated well. Okay, and that's why terrorism can flourish in places like that. And I think it's very difficult to spread that idea of terrorism in this country, because here we grow up and a Jew could be friendly with a Christian, an Italian can be friendly with an Irish boy, okay? We all mix together, and that includes religion.
Well, what's your feeling? What do you think will be the effect?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the effect is going to be on you, on us?
Like I said, if we only have 2 or 3, the propaganda will then spread around the fear so that everybody will be fearful of.
Is propaganda good or bad?
Huh?
Is propaganda good or bad?
Propaganda depends upon who's the one that's propagating the propaganda. Goebbels was bad.
Who's gonna determine though what is good and bad about propaganda?
Are you trying to lead your particular direction into God is the only one that can determine morality?
Well, here's what I'm suggesting, and I'm just saying this to help you, okay? Problem with being part of a materialistic universe, supposing that's what we are, okay? We're just, we're really just DNA evolving slowly over millions of years. There's really not a real reason to sacrifice our lives or honor anything if really what we are is just brain fizz. We're just brain fizz, then I can't blame a terrorist for doing anything what they're going to do more than I can blame a lawyer for being a lawyer. There's really, I can't elevate one, I'm not going to be able to elevate one material over another and have no reason for that.
Okay, let's say I understand that particular principle. What is your point?
Well, the point is that I believe with all of my heart that you do know what's right and wrong, that we don't live in these subjective moral compasses, if you will. We live in objectivity because in Genesis